Guys, let's begin Avengers Mightiest Heroes. The first opposite, a peaceful day quickly turned into chaos when a tourist camera caught a giant robot. Ultimo emerged from the sea, and Iron Man comes after a heated battle. Iron Man destroyed Ultimato in a massive explosion. Elsewhere, James Rhodes, watching the footage from Tony Stark's car, characterized Tony for taking on such threats alone and suggested Shield should be handling these crises. And Tony wants to change when Rhodes suggested helping Shield's Hulkbuster until take down the Hulk. Tony dismissed the idea at Stark Tower. Pepper tells Stark that Hydra had launched an attack on the United Nations during the Fall World Leaders Assembly, with SHIELD still 40 minutes out. Tony suited and goes and finds the local SHIELD unit struggling against Hydra's forces, and towering Hydra put. He destroyed it with powerful Unibeam despite Jarvis' warning about the low power, with only 40% of energy remaining and 14 armed Hydra agents closing in. Iron Man confidently launched missiles to disable their armors, and then he fights three dreadnought robots enhanced with Stark repulsor tech. On board Shield helicarrier, Maria informs Nick Fury that Iron Man had engaged, and he fights the robots and defeats them. And Pepper talks with Rhodey, and she is afraid about Tony. Shield's helicarrier arrived, blasting the remaining armored Mandroid units deployed, and ordered Iron Man to stand down. When Tony scanned the Mandroid suits, he was furious to find 7 components made with his tech. Before a tense standoff could escalate, a remaining Dorotau reactivated behind them. Iron Man prepared to fire, but the Mandarins misread the situation and opened fire on himself. Instead, Tony, now out of patience, blasted the Mandroid away and finishes the Dreadnoughts. Then he goes to the helicarrier and fights Fury, and Maria pulled a gun on him, placing him under arrest. But Fury stopped her and they had a hard talk. Then Fury says they had a leak in systems. Then an agent of Hydra smiles back at Stark Tower. Rhodes and Pepper worries about for Tony. Rhodes reminded Tony he didn't have to face the world alone. Meanwhile, as Hydra agents were being taken into the vault, a supervillain prison Tony had originally helped design. Fury personally oversees the drop-off, and Maria was with him. Inside the prison held dangerous criminals like MODOK, Technovore, Crimson Dynamo, and Param von Stracker, Hydra's ruthless leader. Fury tried to get information out of Stracker with the suspicion of a bigger plan. Suddenly chaos erupted. One of Hydra agents was found with a mechanical arm, the Saturn Claw. Another agent, Grim Reaper, revealed his true identity and attacked and take the Saturn Claw and freed Strucker. Fury and Hill engaged but were quickly overwhelmed. Strucker, now wielding the Saturn Claw, used it to drain the life force of SHIELD agents, regaining chaos and strength as they escaped in jet car. Fury jumped and confronted them. Strucker managed to edge Fury using the claw, but was knocked out of the car and recaptured by Maria. Fury continues fighting Grim Reaper until he found a bomb planted on it, and it explodes, sending the car crashing. Fury landed on Grim Reaper and locked him back in the vault. Maria, watching the whole thing, asked Fury if all supervillain prisons were like the vault. Fury responding grimly, "No, all 4 are different," and the opposite ends. Thor. The Wrecking Crew steal advanced technology from Stark Industries freighter, what seems to be a gamma ray device for the leader. The police arrive on the scene and issue a code blue, the signal for supervillain activity. Jane Foster as Jane rushes to assist injured officers. Her partner remains frozen in fear in the ambulance. The police are quickly overwhelmed. Thunderbolt is going to attack Jane, but Thor saved and fight them and defeats them easily. Then he talks with Jane and asks about her name. Suddenly, Heimdall reaches out to Thor, calling him to Asgard, which is under siege of the fourth giants, led by Loki. Breach Asgard's gates. They tear down its drawbridge and overpower the Asgardians' warriors. Odin, nearing his Odin's sleep, is too weak to act. Heimdall tells Thor of the dire situation. As the ravens carry a word to Odin, Thor flies into the battle. He slams into the forest giants, fighting them until Loki shoots him with a magic. Then they had an amazing fight. Then Loki tricks Thor. Then Thor defeats Loki, and Loki is banished to the Isle of Silence. Loki vanishes. Odin warns Thor that Asgard needs his leadership, but Thor chooses Earth as Thor departs. The Enchantress, watching in secret, teleports to the Isle of Silence with Executioner. They cast a spell to protect themselves from the silence and approach Loki. Loki smiles. Everything is going to the plan. He had orchestrated the entire chain of events, telling the frost giants Asgard intend to invade, disguising himself as the leader and directing the wrecking crew to attack Stark's freighter, using the Enchantress to tell Thor about what is in the docks, impersonating Baldur to manipulate Odin into believing Thor's affections for Jane weakened him. Hulk. Bruce Banner has come to Las Vegas to try and find Carl Creel, who has escaped the cube after evading the police. He finally finds Creed in a small diner and tells him what he wants, and while talking, we see cameos of Abomination, the leader, and Yuffie. But Creel knows who Bruce really is and picks a fight with him. Hulk fights and defeats Absorbing Man, then is attacked by Hulk Pastors. Just as he is about to personally attack Thunderbolt Ross, Hawkeye and Black Widow step in ready to take down the Hulk for shield. The Hulk battles both Black Widow and Hawkeye and wins up, saving a shield ship with Agent Poppy Morse in it when it's endangered by Ross, ordering his men to continue firing on the Hulk. After saving the ship, he is captured by Black Widow and taken into the cube. Then Hawkeye goes to the cube and we see Gamma Villains and Simon is talking with Bruce, then Hawkeye, and at night Hawkeye catches the Black Widow stealing Bruce Banner's DNA sample and arranging a meeting with Hydra out in the desert. He follows her and demands to know what's going on, but she turns the tables on him, and when SHIELD agents arrive, she stuns him and claims that he is the traitor. She tells them to take Hawkeye to the vault and she will take care of Hydra agents. After they leave, she contacts someone and tells them that she has SHIELD convicted that Hawkeye is the traitor, then exclaims, "Hail Hydra!" Captain America and Bucky along with the Howling Commandos, and we see James Holt and Fury's father storm a Hydra base in order to try and stop the Red Skull. Meanwhile, from somewhere else, King the Conqueror watches on. Captain America and Bucky make it inside the Red Skull's fortress, only to be captured. The Red Skull introduces them to his master plan, stealing monsters from Norse mythology and bringing them into our world. Captain America and Bucky defeat the monsters by sending them back through the portal, but in attempting to stop the Red Skull from escaping in his rocket ship, Bucky dies and Captain America falls into the frozen waters below. Kang is reviewing the past, trying to determine how Captain America has destroyed his timeline. He then finds out that Captain America has survived his fall into the ocean while trying to escape his destroyed timeline. King's lover, Princess Ravonna, gets injured before King and his armies arrive in the 21st century. He is involved to save Ravonna and his timeline by conquering the present. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Hank Pym is just outside Wakanda studying a vibranium ore sample under the protection of S.H.I.E.L.D. When the camp is attacked by Julius Klaue and his mercenaries, he shrinks down to Ant-Man and begins taking out the mercenaries. When Klaue loads the vibranium sample into a sonic weapon, Pym then activates another device and shrinks the entire lab down with Klaue and his men still inside, and then take out the rest of the mercenaries. While Hank deals with Klaue, after returning to normal size, Klaue freaks out and runs into the jungle. Escaping, Hank is working in the lab, which is pouring to Jean, when an explosion catches her attention and we see cameo of Punisher. She goes to investigate and discover Whirlwind Wasp knocking him out with Ant-Man. Whirlwind is taken to his cell in the big house, and we see Arnim Zola, Grey Gargoyle, and many others when he decides to try and break free after destroying a couple of robotic guards and giant arm passes through the roof and a single finger pins him to the ground. Looking up, he sees an enormous Hank Pym holding him in place. Later, Hank begins to argue with Fury about the ethics of the prison he created. Fury asks them if they even bothered to ask what Whirlwind had stole. A sonic disruptor for Klaue. Inside the big house, Whirlwind tries to escape when the Mad Sinker tells him there is no need, and we see the four prisons and the prisoner. Then in the African nation of Wakanda, the Man Ape has come to challenge T'Chaka, the king of to combat. With the unseen help of Klaue, T'Chaka is defeated and killed. Man Ape proclaims himself as the new king of Wakanda. T'Challa runs off and leaves Wakanda with the Black Panther suit. Now main series events. While deep inside the cube, Dr. Leonard Samson converses with Bruce Banner. Banner warns him this place isn't a prison, it's a gamma bomb just waiting to go off. New York City. Thor gazes over the skyline. He is soon joined by Baldur, who wants him to return to Asgard as Odin lies in his Odin sleep, and the realm needs its prince. Thor declines once more. Their conversation is interrupted by a crash below. Cars collide violently, and Jane Foster is helping the injured. As another vehicle barrels toward her, Thor smashes into it, saving her life. She thanks him. Back at the vault, Iron Man drops off the AIM agents and is greeted by Jimmy Woo, who wants to discuss security concerns. Stark brushes him off. It can wait a day. Aboard the shield helicarrier inside the big house, Dr. Hank Pym is consulting the Mad Sinker about a cryptic conversation he had with Whirlwind. Elsewhere, Maria Hill and the Wasp chat when Black Widow brushes past them without a word. Who is that? Wasp asks. Hill answered, classified. Suddenly, warning lights flicker across the helicarrier, power is falling. The same blackout hits the vault and the cube. Prisoners' barriers drop, cells open. In the big house, the entire facility begins to grow back to normal size, crashing through the helicarrier. In the cube, crashes form in the gamma walls. A blast of radiation hits Leonard Simpson. His body absorbs the full dose. Nick Fury on the helicarrier tries to coordinate the crisis. Quantum reports total communication failure with all three prisons. Fury's eye narrow. At the same time, villains of Big House are defeating Shield agent, and Wasp wants to go to Hank as she is with Maria. Then Pepper calls Iron Man, tells him what the helicarrier and he goes to check the vault back in the city. Sue and Jane share a moment over coffee. She encourages him to reunite with his family before he can answer. An explosion rocks the skyline. Thor hurls himself into the chaos. In the cube banner is pinned by Rappel. Samson, now radiating power, rushes to help, lifting debris easily. Before he can free Banner fully, Zask strikes inside the vault. Villains crumple from their gear. Living Laser helps Chemistry and Whiplash reclaim their weapons until Hawkeye ambushes them, knocking Chemistry unconsciously. In the big house, Wasp goes to help Hank and he fights many prisoners. At the same time, Andrick Goss defeated the robots at the vault. Iron Man enters then, Crimson Dynamo, Blizzard, and Laser attacks him. Stark orders Jarvis to begin the vault's self-destruct sequence. At the helicarrier, Maria talks with Nick and he tells her that the raft is more important, and we see Gravitonium awakes. Banner's scream shift to a roar. The Hulk emerges because of that leader who monitors everything from a command room and tells Absorbing Man and Abomination to attack Hulk. Then Hawkeye helps disable Dynamo just in time, and Iron Man barely escapes as the facility denotated behind him. Then Whirlwind is attacking Ant-Man and he tricks him, then reunited with Wasp. Hank warns her this isn't over. In the cube, Hulk carries the unconscious Samson, only to be confronted by Abomination and the Absorbing Man. Hulk triggers a ceiling collapse to escape, taking Samson to safety. Leader calmly tells his agents, let him go, we have work to do. Elsewhere, Nick Fury boards a transport for the raft, Shield's most secure facility. Maria Hill is left in command as Fury teams lands on the raft's platform. It begins to raise, lifted into the air by the returning gravitonium. Fury is pulled skyward face to face with the man responsible for unleashing hell across all four planets. Then we return 10 years ago in a top shield lab. Nick Fury approaches Professor Franklin Hall, a physicist with a high genius level intelligence, offering him a position to recreate the late Dr. Erskine super soldier's formula. However, during a lab accident, Franklin gains the ability to control gravity. Waking up from the incident, he lashes out in a blind rage, demanding to see Fury immediately. But before he can act further, knockout gases fill the room, rendering everyone unconscious, with Fury watching from a distance. Present day. Gravitation has been awakened, realizing the years have passed after asking Zemo. Gravitation escapes from the prison, flying into the air, his power surging. He seizes Fury, intent on revenge for his years of confinement. As gravitation begins to crash Fury in mid-air, Mjolnir Thor's enchanted hammer slams into gravitation, breaking his hold. As gravitation falls, Wasp swoops in, catching Fury and flying him safely to the shore. Then Thor will begin fighting. Meanwhile, across the man's suit malfunctions. He directs Jarvis to remotely launch suit towards him. Back in New York, Fury explains to Ant-Man and the Wasp that the man just faced is Franklin Hall, a physicist who vanished after joining S.H.I.E.L.D. years ago. Hank Pym recognizes the name, but the heroes are more concerned about stopping gravitation. Above the harbor, Thor and gravitation clash in the sky, but gravitation's force field is too powerful, deflecting Mjolnir and sending Thor crashing down. Gravitation grows stronger, manipulating the very gravity around him. In the meantime, the Hulk with Bruce Banner's voice in his head is a diner in Nevada after putting Samson there. Trying to come to terms with his dual nature, Banner suggests that Hulk could use his powers to help others, but Hulk demands something in return to remain the Hulk permanently. As Thor struggles under gravitation power, Wasp realizes she must help. She shrinks and darts towards the battle, firing stings at gravitation. For a brief moment, gravitation is distracted, allowing Iron Man to slam into him with repulsor blasts. Gravitation's energy readings are off the charts compared to the power of a black hole. He blew Iron Man into space. Back at the harbor, Pym asks Fury about gravitation's abilities, and Fury reveals that his team studied him for years without finding any limits to his power. Determined to stop him, Pym grows to giant size and attempts to subdue gravitation. However, he is easily sent flying away and destroys Fury, who is revealed to be a robot. In the chaos, Thor sinks to the ocean floor and gravitation begins lifting the entire island of Manhattan, threatening destruction. Thor struggles to regain his strength, flies under the landmass, slowing its descent and preventing full destruction. Iron Man, floating in space, is helpless until gravitation's gravitational field weakens, allowing him to rocket back towards Earth. Meanwhile, gravitation continues fighting Thor, crashing buildings and sending heroes flying. Then Hulk comes and fights him and was nearly defeating him. Then he puts all of them in floor. Then Hulk begins moving and the gravitation attacks him, and Ant-Man sends Ant to string gravitation and distract him. Then all heroes move and Hulk helps them defeat him, and they together put him down, but Shield wants to stop Hulk. Then they all defend him. Nick wants them to join Shield, but Iron Man wants to make a team, not to Shield, and they form the Avengers. As the team comes together, Quantumania approaches Fury with troubling news. Footage has been recovered showing that the breakouts began before gravitation escape. And it's the end of our episode today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow to complete the story.